So in today's video, we're doing another comparison because I just love comparing products. So we are going to be comparing the new IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better foundation to their classic CC cream, Your Skin But Better CC cream. I'll be doing a demo of each of these on my face, giving you a breakdown of the formulas, who I think they'd work best for, and all that good stuff. So if you do enjoy it, please make sure to give this video a big old thumbs up, and I would love for you to subscribe if you find me tolerable. So make sure to do that before you leave, and let's just jump right into it. I want to start with the new foundation because I know a lot of you are curious about it. It is called the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better Foundation and Skincare because there are skincare benefits to this as well. And most of IT Cosmetics products have some sort of skincare claim or just claim to be good for your skin and improve your skin. So this new foundation comes in 40 different shades, which I'm very, very glad to see. I'm glad that IT Cosmetics is making improvements to their shade range. Retails for $39.50 and you do get a full fluid ounce of product in here. And this is actually a glass bottle, it's not plastic. So there is hyaluronic acid in here, there is aloe vera, there is Hepis acid, which I had never heard before, and I kept reading it as herpes acid, which is a little bit frightening, but no, apparently it helps to very gently exfoliate the skin. And there's also vitamins E and B5. So they say that this is a medium coverage, it's a liquid foundation that is very lightweight, and it has more of a natural finish. It's definitely IT Cosmetics wheelhouse. They like to do a medium coverage, natural looking, great for all skin types. That's usually the kind of formulas that they like to come out with. So I was really excited for this, and I had pretty high standards for it just because I love the CC cream so much. But I was hoping that IT Cosmetics would do something different with this formula because, you know, we already have the more dewy, creamy looking foundation. I mean, CC cream foundation, whatever. At the end of the day, it's a base product that I put on my face. So I wanted to see something different that still looked healthy on the skin. First of all, let's talk about the actual texture of the product. This is extremely thin and very, very liquidy, which to be honest, I wasn't expecting. I was expecting more of like a creamy liquid, if that makes sense. But this is quite liquidy when you pump it out. It almost feels a bit watery as well. It's just incredibly, incredibly thin. And when you go to blend it out, it kind of just immediately sinks into the skin. So not only is it very fluid and thin, it is very, very lightweight. Even just putting it on my hand, like it has completely dried down and I don't feel it anymore, which I think a lot of people will really appreciate, especially in the summer, because sometimes in the summer, I just don't want to feel the makeup sitting on top of my skin. It's also pretty transfer proof. So right away, these are not the things that I was expecting to see from this foundation, but I was very pleasantly surprised by all of that. So IT Cosmetics says that this is a natural finish. I actually think the finish of this product is not necessarily natural. I think it's very, very skin-like. And I do think there's kind of a difference. I think there's more of a creamy natural finish, and then there's more of a skin-like natural finish. And this definitely leans more skin-like to me. As I mentioned before, when you apply it, it really sinks in. And I think that's what ends up giving this such a skin-like finish. When this is blended well onto the skin, it truly kind of disappears, but it's giving you the coverage. You can just barely tell where the product starts and stops. And I think that that is true even more so in a product like this than something like the IT Cosmetics CC cream, because this is very creamy natural, very hydrating, very dewy, and skin just isn't super dewy all the time naturally. So the fact that this just looks like skin without anything on it, that makes for an incredibly natural look when it's on. But let's talk about how it actually applies and how that process works. So the first time I applied this, I was very excited to get this, so I didn't even really prep my skin whatsoever. I just applied it, and I immediately noticed that I had a lot of texture on my skin, and I actually tend to have more dry skin, and I am also on a Retin-A right now, which can tend to give you a little bit of peeling. But before I had applied it, I didn't notice any of that peeling. So I was like, oh, you know, I didn't prep my skin, and I'm a huge believer in really prepping the skin before going in with a foundation product. So I kind of swept it under the rug. I went back to apply it again and kind of do like a wear test on it. And it happened again. I had been using using my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base, and this is like my go-to primer. It's really helped every single foundation that I've ever used it with. And I was just noticing that as I was applying the product with my fingers in downward strokes on the face, it looks so skin-like and so gorgeous, and every part of me wanted it to work, but I would just notice on my cheeks a little bit, I was still peeling. And I've been using other foundations and not noticing that. And I really haven't noticed those textural issues really even just on like an everyday basis when I'm not wearing makeup. So that was very disappointing, especially because this finish is just absolutely stunning. I was really determined and wanted to figure out a way to make this work. I thought, you know what? We need to try this with another classic primer that I absolutely adore, which is the Glossier Future Dew. This video isn't about the Future Dew. I am a Glossier rep, but this is just an exceptional primer. So I went in with this and then I applied this over it. And let me tell you, it was night and day. I still got that really exceptionally skin-like look. The Glossier Future Dew did give it a little bit more shine. It was a little bit dewier than when I had applied the Bobbi Brown primer, but it still just sank into the skin so exceptionally. My dry patches pretty much like went away, and it just prepped my skin so much better and worked so incredibly well with this that I venture to say that if you use just a facial oil as a primer with this, I think you will love it. Or even if you mix in a facial oil with this, I am blown away, guys. It's what I'm wearing on my skin today, and I'm just so blown away by how skin-like it looks in person. Like, my skin looks amazing and it doesn't look like there's any product on it. I can't tell you how glad I am that I continued to try this with other primers, because this combo is what I'm going to be wearing like every day. It also wears really well. Even though it was highlighting texture on my skin before when I was trying it out, it didn't make my texture look worse throughout the day, and the coverage definitely sat on the skin really well. So guys, I mean, I'm incredibly impressed with this duo. But all of that is to say that you need to prep your skin well before you go in with this foundation. I highly recommend the Glossier Future Dew, or again, using a facial oil to prime, because this is so watery and so thin and just wants to sink into the skin. I think just a touch of an oil or something a little bit more emollient really works well with this. So I am very pleased with that duo and just really happy that I tried it. But let's do some quick comparisons between the two. So the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Cream is obviously a cult favorite for a reason. It's very creamy, and it just gives you such a natural creamy finish to the skin while also giving you a solid medium coverage. So comparing like the finishes and the coverage, this is way more skin-like, truly skin-like, and this is more of a natural creamy finish. So natural skin-like, natural creamy, and this is definitely more buildable. You can build it up to close to a full coverage. I never do because I just prefer the way it looks when I'm using it as a medium. So coverage wise, you definitely get a little bit less coverage with the foundation. And this also has SPF, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on what you like. I don't think it's a bad thing to have SPF in your foundation unless you're doing photography, but I also always wear sunscreen, so either way, you know, I'm fine with either. You get 1.08 ounces, so just barely a little bit more product with this. It retails for $39.50, so same price, but this only comes in 12 shades. So as for shade range, this is definitely better. This texture is much creamier. It's definitely more of a classic BB cream texture, and it goes onto the skin exceptionally well. Anytime my skin is in pretty bad shape, so if I have, you know, if I'm blowing my nose a lot and I have a lot of texture around the nose area, this is the product that I will use because it's really the only foundation that makes my skin look good. Sometimes when your skin is in really bad shape, it's very hard for makeup to make texture look better, and this somehow does. So I've always been really impressed with this for that reason. And it's just such a natural everyday product. It's quick, medium coverage, really dewy, juicy skin, never unflattering. So it's just such an easy product. I think ease of use wise, the It Cosmetics is definitely better because like I said, I think I have to use more of an oil serum when I'm using this or else it just doesn't sit on my skin as well. Whereas this is just much more of an easy throw it in your bag product, will always look good. And as for the way that it wears, it will start to look, I guess, maybe a little bit shinier, but this is obviously from the perspective of someone with dry skin. If you do have more combination or oily skin, I think you would really enjoy this just because of how skin-like it is, how it just sinks into the skin so quickly and just feels so lightweight. You can definitely feel this a little bit more on the skin. And if your skin does tend to get more oily, you would probably want to set this. A couple of notes about the shades themselves. So the shade Fair in the CC cream is a little bit more on the yellow side, whereas obviously there are more shades within the foundation. I bought Fair 11 Neutral, and this is certainly more neutral and a better shade match for me, but I also definitely can get away with using the shade Fair, and I've used this one for a long time. So there will always be a spot in my heart for the It Cosmetics CC cream. I think it's just a beautiful product. The way it looks on the skin, how consistently I have used it. I've seriously used it for probably like 4 or 5 years now. It's just always looked good on the skin. And when I'm investing in makeup or when I'm just buying makeup in general, I'm looking for products that are consistent. So with this, I still think that this is a product that I will always love, always go back to. But this combo, I'm just loving it. I am really loving it. I don't think that I have tried out another base combo for my skin, like a new foundation this year that, you know, in combination with the Future Dew, that looks this good. Of course, I have like a ton of foundations in my drawer that I really love, but for 2020, this is definitely the one that I am the most impressed with. I am just over the moon about it. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, if I do say so myself. So, final thoughts on these two foundations. You tend to prefer a more dewy, really natural, creamy look to the skin. You want that extra dew, you want that extra moisture. I would say this is probably more up your alley, but if you're someone like me that also likes a very skin-like look, you like a product that just kind of immediately sinks into the skin and a product that just disappears and leaves you with that veil of coverage, I am incredibly impressed with this. With someone with very consistent textural issues, I don't think that this is your best bet. I really can't stress enough though that I think it's all about the primer that you use with it and the way that you prep your skin, because again, I was over the moon with the finish of this, but when I hadn't used it with the Glossier Future Dew, I was still on the fence because I was noticing sort of the texture, especially like on my cheeks and on my chin. Like I said, I'm going to just be keeping this on my vanity and we'll probably just be using it every day because I think it's absolutely stunning. Yeah, I hope that you guys found today's video helpful. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. That way I know. And then of course, I'd love you to subscribe if you enjoyed it. So with all of that, I will see you in my next one.